Is this all right? Can you guys hear me? Cool. So every time Kamal Haasan announces a new film, somebody comes along and says, "You stole my story," right? I've seen that in pretty much every film that Kamal Haasan has done in recent times. Therefore, Chris Ashok stole my idea. I was supposed to speak about what Chris Ashok spoke today, but he stole my idea, so I've just got to write something new now. Okay, cool. Shall we go about that? I'm going to talk about connect, which is the idea that being a person or having one specialty is not enough. I haven't prepared for the speech, which is why I got it here. I wrote it about 10 minutes ago. I was thinking, broadly the idea of the conference, the theme is ideas for India. I was thinking, what can we do? Ideas, what kind of ideas can we do? I was talking about doing a Freud piece on Government and Sindel, which even in Government word is the ultimate Dakalti job, so I didn't want to do that. I was talking about, shall I do it on photography, which I don't think I'm capable enough of doing technical stuff on that. So no. So I'm going to talk about myself for the next 16 minutes, whatever. So I started Chennai Photo Walk in November 2007. This was just about 4 months after Scoble and Thomas Hawke created the worldwide photo walk movement itself. I'm just saying that I was pretty clued into all that. Because I wanted to start it before somebody else started it. I wanted the fame and popularity and money. Sadly, there's no money in it yet. So, shall we go to the next slide, please? On the photo walks, almost all photo walks that we do, that I have organized, are about history. It's about Madras and things about Madras's history. This is unfortunately in Mahabalipuram. Shall we go on to the next one, please? There's lots of theory behind walking and behind being a photo walker. There's a person called Michael Deserto who talks about the practice of everyday life. He creates a concept called flaneur, who's a person who experiences a city by walking it. And he asks a question about, does the city exist already, or is it created by people as you walk along the different paths? For instance, you walk along, you walk Ispani Center, go to Cafe Coffee Day. So is the city just Ispani Center and Coffee Day, or is it something else? Stuff like that. Next one. But before that, why do humans walk? Yeah? We walk because we all stood up, but why did we stand up? Can somebody tell me why we stood up? Good idea, possibly. There are lots of ideas why why human beings stood up. One is that trees grew higher, branches were out of reach of the monkeys on the ground, so they had to stand up and reach the fruit or whatever it was. So that's one reason why human beings stood up. The other reason is the climate of Africa is very harsh, and when you're on your forge, you present a larger surface area, which means you lose more energy to heat. Therefore, you stand up, the surface area is less. I'm not the person to be talking about surface area, but still, you know. Next one, please. What happened? We all walked. Slight pun there, if you guys can find the pun. Enna nadandhathu naan nadandhen. Sorry. Because we stood up, because we all stood up, we developed a spine, we stood up, our hands were free, which means I could now use a stone to cut things up. I could use a chopper, I could use things, I could also use a camera. Quadrupeds can outrun, as we all know that. Cheetahs and deers and tigers can outrun humans, but because they outrun, they spend more energy doing that. They lose stamina fast. But when you're walking slow, you'll catch up. Therefore, what happened because of that? Human beings migrated. They went out of Africa, they went into India, they went across to the world. Next, please. What? Bigger reason? There's a point to all this, I'll come there. Our brains have gotten bigger. That's a huge, okay. One of the factors with bipedalism, which is why we are standing up, is that we stand because the pelvis is narrow, which means it's less bone and it moves faster. But that also means the birth canal is smaller. It's, I know you're all engineering students here, but still. Our brains had gotten bigger. We were all premature births. We all had to, we couldn't look up to, we couldn't survive ourselves when we first born, which is where the whole idea, I think, of religion comes from. When you're born, you have to look up to somebody who's bigger and better and more powerful to take care of you, which is possibly why religion exists, right? We all look up to a God who will save us, or a Kirba. Sorry, Kribs, you're the king, but... and therefore, we organize things. This is why we have TED here. Because we always had to have something, somebody to take care of us, we organized, we created societies. We became a group, we became a clan, we became a tribe, we became a species, and we became Chennai Photo Walk. And that's where art comes from, because our brains are bigger, abstraction. There's so many things happening in our brains. Our brains are all wired in extraordinary ways. How many of you guys here have seen a TED video by V.S. Ramachandran? Anybody else? Cool. V.S. Ramachandran talks about how our brains are wired to naturally find metaphor in everything, right? We see something, we see another thing, we instantly bring those two together. Or in Ashok's word, we remix them, we bring them together, right? Next one, please. Which is the entire idea for what I want to talk about today, is a multidisciplinary man, a person who's more than just one, who's got more than just one specialty, who can see the abstraction, see the metaphor in everything that they do, right? Next one. The first specialty that I want everybody to look up, because I do this, is to understand our past. Why do we need to understand our past? I was going to show you a video, but apparently the video stream's blocked in this university. So I'm sorry. I thought I had some very lovely white women and all in that, but sorry. They're very beautiful, actually. I worked with all of them. So what I was going to talk about, what the video was going to tell you is why you need to know history, why you need to know archaeology. It gives you a greater understanding. It informs you, which means you're better connected to who you are. Everybody wants to be connected to where they are. If you're a migrant, if you've just come to Madras or just come to Chennai, you want to know about Chennai, so you feel connected to the city. You're not a migrant everywhere. Everybody's a migrant, and they all want to feel connected to some place where they are. Right? And history gives you that connection. But compromises also have to be made. How far can you preserve something? How far can you throw something away? Can we go to the next one, please? When I was in school, I don't know how I became an archaeologist, because my teachers tried very hard to kill all ideas of history and archaeology of me. I'll tell you, this really did happen. Okay? My history teacher in class 10, she had a textbook. Akbar built roads, full stop. Rajaraja Chola built roads, full stop. Whoever, British Raj built roads, full stop. She would read out exclamation marks and punctuation marks. Killed history for me in school. I suppose it killed history for all of you here. Yeah? But for the last 5 years, I've been reading books about history, John Key and Romila Thapar and who not. They make history fun, right? They make it interesting. They make me want to know why I'm here, what I'm doing here. And that's one of the shows that when I was in the UK, I took part as an intern in a show called The Time Team, which has pretty much invented the idea of archaeology in UK. For 20 years, every week, they go to a certain place and understand why the place exists. They do all kinds of archaeology for 3 days in this place, and this goes on TV, and people have become archaeologists based on this show. People want to learn history. Why can't we do that? Which is what Chennai Photo Walk tries to do. Instead, we go to different places, we talk about the history of the place, we take photographs, we put these photographs on Flickr and Facebook and whatnot, and we like to know more about Madras. Shall we? Next one. More white women here, semi-nude. The next multidisciplinary discipline that I want to talk about is the idea of communicating. Calliope, the muse Calliope, she's about tragic poetry and drama. whatever our passion, let's talk about it. Whatever we want to do, let's talk about it. Whatever we do. Can we go to the next slide, please? Ta-da. Again, videos, blogs, I can't show you the next slide, so we go to the next one. That's pretty much it, I suppose. That's pretty much it. I'm sorry the videos are not working, but otherwise I've said everything that I wanted to say.